It's rainy, Zumbazeo everywhere. Blood is dripping on the ground, and the sucker is hurt. Dude, obviously. He was betrayed by friends. I have no idea who they are. Because in front of him, there's only one creature, a spider, and another, with a completely destroyed head attacking. The protagonist says dying at the hands of your own comrades is a disgrace. He really wasn't born for this apocalyptic world. Lamelon's name is increasingly Yezoman. He has wondered countless times about what would happen in an apocalypse. That was when, 10 years ago, the world changed, and 90% of people were infected. From the skies, strange wheels descended, and gradually people discovered a crystal in the monsters' heads. These crystals could be used to spin those wheels and obtain items. Invaluable items that were essential to survive the apocalypse, like weapons, medicine, and food. And obviously, because of that, the fight in the apocalypse began over those wheels and also those crystals. Groups formed, and our guy joined one of them and decided to abandon his human side. After 10 years of hard work, he finally managed to get into a special group. He thought life would be smooth and peaceful now, but in the end, he was abandoned and betrayed by his team. That's how it all ended for the sucker. But it just started a minute ago, right? So obviously we're resurrecting alongside him. There's a girl called Bike Sinho, and the kid is scared because last night's meal should have died a long time ago. Looking around, he knows this is his home, which is weird, since this place had also been destroyed. And if he sees Alexa there in the corner, dude. 2220, September 10th. He had traveled back in time. However, even so, it's 200 years ahead of us. Man, the PT chat has already taken over everything. Look, hello. But what happened with the car that goes back? So how is it now? Tell me, hey little sucker. Aren't you happy it came back, no son? You're mad that he's going to have to go through all that again. But suddenly he remembers it's not exactly the same thing. He's been reborn. He has the chance to change everything he did in that life. And obviously, he knows the most important things about the apocalypse. And one of them is having experience, damn. The boy is just getting up and putting on his clothes. I thought he was going to take advantage that the apocalypse hasn't started yet, right? To have some fun for a second. But no, man, he's already going. Real involvement. Even the girl wants to know where you're going to use the Ming. You cuckold the rookie. But he's completely ignoring her. In a drawer, there's a credit card with a lot of money. That's because his parents died, right? Obviously, he's an orphan. He was a fool in his past life and didn't spend that money, right? The apocalypse started, and all that money stayed in the account. But now he's going to do things differently. The girl is talking. Hey, Yuming. You cuckold, look at me. The rookie throws a backpack on the floor, calls her, and says he already knows that she and Kim Jong are together. What she's doing right now is only because she feels sorry for him. Oh man, but the girl is a saint. She feels so much pity that she sat on the boy, haha, but she seems a little confused and tries to deny it, saying she has no idea what he's talking about. In the past, the rookie, when everything started, sold everything and did everything to protect the little girl, but in the end, she decided to leave him and choose some guy named Kim Jong. She sent the yes on Ming, yikes. He said the full name, said it clearly. Why does he have to humiliate her like that? It's like she's with that other guy. He's just jealous because that guy is handsome and really strong. Oh man, crazy stuff. He even said he's just a clown. What a joker. You're the one sharing the meal, so I thought he was the nice guy. But he warns her that, because of their past relationship, he's going to give her one last warning. She better watch out. He remembers that in his past life, she was traded for 3 cans of food, man. But now he doesn't care about her anymore, and just leaves the fool yelling there, saying she's the one who's going to dump him, but she's the one dumping him first. He ignores it, and they're already out on the street paying for a taxi. He wants to go to the nearest hospital. The goal is to gather medicine, food, and equipment. They arrive, and he's rummaging through a suitcase full of needles, injections, medicine, everything they have there. Whoa, kid, I thought he bought it at the pharmacy. But the boy's a thief, girl. The girl caught him red-handed stealing everything. He had to run off fast. At least he said he left money at the entrance. Clearly not. A good Samaritan, huh? Because the hospital will run out of medicine when the apocalypse starts. Then he went to an outdoor gear store, right? Bought some boots, some more durable clothes, and also a machete. 8 is a reek. He has experience from his past life, and it's going to be perfect. The old man even threw in the charm, thinking the fool paid 10 times the price. He really was an idiot. The taxi driver's going 100 miles an hour, and our pro already tells him to stop at a mansion, some guy named Heyday, saying he'll give $300 extra. The guy's cutting through traffic. almost running people over while our protagonist knows the only thing left now is to prepare for the rounds. Basically, these are the posts for trading and the source of resources for all survivors. Water, food, equipment, even special skills could be obtained by spinning these routes, and he had to be the first to take advantage of that. Just in front of the mansion's entrance, a guy appears. He says no taxi can enter there, but the dude is crazy. He tells the guy to speed up and says he'll take responsibility for everything. I don't know who's crazier, him or the taxi driver, man. Because the guy just obeys and starts breaking everything. Looks like they went to a more deserted area. The little guy told the taxi driver to be careful, that it's madness. He's about to start the world and got out of the car. Of course, the building guards already came over wanting to know what this crazy kid is doing. The duck is there saying, "Hey, I don't know anything, what's up?" But the guy tells him to stop acting like an idiot. The little guy, however, tells him to take a look, because it seems like things are suddenly starting. A black smoke with thunder, pillar surge. At that moment, the famous apocalypse was arriving, just like it happened 10 years ago. What he doesn't understand is who put these wheels in the world, and why these things appeared out of nowhere. At least if everything follows the same logic, he has the chance to become much stronger. Man, I thought it was a roulette, but actually it's a huge spaceship flying over everything. I said the PT chat had already taken over 10 years in the future. Man, the guards all think it's, I don't know, a special effects movie. They're all filming while our boy is starting to rush, knowing that this golden spaceship is about to start its attack. An attack that would last 5 minutes, and then the world would forever become hell. He rings the doorbell of a nearby mansion and says he's from the rich delivery. They're all clueless suckers, man. You think they just opened the door like that? The little guy already went in smoothly. Someone said he's not a delivery man, and man, here comes the first angry lady of the moment. But she looks like she's going to cause more trouble than being nice, and warns him it's best he disappears from her house now, or she'll call the cops, guys. But you've already noticed that this woman has no combat skills. The kid is already about to slap her when she tells him to leave again. Suddenly, there's an explosion outside. The ship was dropping a bunch of capsules. They looked like giant pills that, when they hit the car, destroyed everything. A strange green poison came out of them. At that moment, the human transforms. The proton could only watch all that happen. The people outside were biting, screaming, begging for help. Meanwhile, the girl next to him wants to know what's going on, and says that if he doesn't leave now, she'll call the police. He, however, completely ignores everything she says, sees the kitchen, and runs in that direction. When he gets there, man, look who it is. The first wheel of the apocalypse. The woman wants to know what that is, and he just says that the exchange will appear as expected. In the middle, you could see it had a gray crystal, meaning it was the lowest possible level. The woman understands that the kid came to see that, but she wants to know why it appeared in her house. While he's impressed, in one part of the wheel, you could see there was a Genesis medicine. It was one of the most valuable items because it increased a person's physical strength. Sometimes, he sees a marking there that shows with 5 crystals you can get that item directly. Kind of taking a chance, he's spinning it there saying, wanted to find the most valuable thing, seeing a bunch of items. Potion, weapon, a desert eagle. There's medicine, there's everything. Look, besides that, there's a clown card, and the woman is already getting curious, right? She wants to know what the clown does. He explains that she won't understand, but that increases special abilities, and he decided to explain, because since this woman hasn't turned into a zombie yet, maybe she has some resistance to the poison. Being so close, he tries to explain that she could get very strong. She could get some kind of pet, but she doesn't believe any of it. Just tell him to stop being crazy. The kid is talking like he's in a game. Now, at that moment, he tells her to be quiet, and he says to pay attention because the shouting outside had stopped. She realizes it's true and runs to see what was happening. In the meantime, she only thinks that if she goes out there, she'll die instantly. However, the moment she reaches the door, the first zombie already gives her a stare. Wow, not only that, it looks like she opened the door like a fool. She slammed it on the ground, and the creature was almost ready to bite. But the fierce girl managed to grab it by the jaw. She's pretty smart. The zombie isn't that dumb either, and slaps her in the face. Just then, a green glow flashes, and the brave girl makes the first kill. The monster still smeared her face, but she just ignores it. She goes to the forehead and pulls out the crystal. The woman is watching, looking somewhat interested. Suddenly, 2 more zombies come through the front door. She's a bit scared and takes a step back. But a brave little guy, oh man, he's got guts. He steps forward, the creatures come to bite. But it's all low-level stuff, so it's just a stare down. A swing of the machete, and both are down on the ground again. The blade glints, and she wonders how he knows how to fight like that. She also wants to know who he is and why he's there. He just says his name is Yesaming and asks for hers. She says her name is Mushin Fei. Oh man. Judging by the reaction he had, she must be extremely dangerous in the future. He remembers a girl up there on a pile of corpses. I don't know if she's a zombie or if it's really her, but it seems like she used to be a 9-star warrior. She's all soft and scared for now. Frightened, wanting to know what's going on. The boy gives a summary, just says, the Earth was invaded. There's going to be tons of zombies. And now the chaos started. She wants to know why. Who? Well, he only said that he doesn't know either. The thing is to collect these little crystals like that. Now, the focus was to survive. She replies that it doesn't make sense. It would be better to wait for the military to come save us. But the men just explained that the military group must have collapsed within minutes as well. The only thing left outside was a world full of zombies. Seeing how scared she is with all the information, the zombie doesn't understand why. This woman managed to become a 9-star warrior. She must have something special, and besides that, it's always good to have some help with this. He tells her to come along, that he will explain everything about how to survive. In this zombie world, obviously, the most important things were resources and equipment, especially those that come from these wheels. If you spin the normal wheel, you get an item. But if you want a specific one, you can fill in those little pieces there, right? To get the right one, she said the shape looked like what he was pulling out of the zombie's head, and right then he puts in 3, and says that's exactly how it works. The question he asked earlier, about the wheel costing 7 crystals, and he explains that the bigger the reward, the more crystals you need to spend. At that moment, she understands then, right? That means there are other wheels out there with better rewards. He said, that's right, girl. You're pretty clever, you little rascal. This one here is level 1 Soma. She then asked, obviously, hey, you bastard, how do you already know all this? He is kind of, how about you spin the little wheel, huh, my girl? Do that, it's better. He warns that he's going out to hunt some zombies, and it's best she stays taking care of this and doesn't open the door. No matter what happens, poor thing. But she's in shock that he's intentionally going outside to hunt monsters. But poor zombie, they keep thinking life is going to be easy. When suddenly the guy with 10 years of experience shows up, ripping off the first head while 4 more stand right there. He comes in their direction, but just passes behind the other one. Finishes off another one by passing through and leaving the blade to kick the head. Jumps and kills another one on the ground. Man, after that it's just about collecting, ripping it off the forehead. But then he hears someone calling for help and looks back. The girl all crooked watching the chaos, damn. She's crazy in the head, right? Clearly the peculiar one, because she already threw herself on his back. Like, die there for me, sucker, but the man is really the sucker. I agree with her, and the rookie goes on defense, right? Killing the first one, wow. But the moment he kills the second, the girl transforms on his back and comes to bite him. But the boy has eyes in the back of his head, man. He manages to turn around and lands a hit. In the middle of her attack, the poor girl is slammed to the ground. And with that, he already got 11 crystals and heads back home. I thought he was showing off there, right, clapping his hands. That's what the rookie is for. He goes to the little circle and puts his finger in, man. When you spin all, the stones disappear. And the roulette starts spinning. The girl is already addicted to the gacha. On her first spin, the dopamine already shot to the moon. The rookie wanted some kind of medicine, but ends up getting some jars of food. He's obviously disappointed. And she shows that maybe it's not so bad. Look at how much food they also have. They'll gather it and have even more, but he just thinks it really was a waste and tells her to try next time. That he's unlucky. No one denies the pain for the girl with gambling luck, right, man? There he goes, trembling to put the little crystal in and win the rookie. Are you eager to know that a person who reached rank 9 is going to win? It's all on her shoulders watching the little wheel. Right, man? The wheel that spins is this one. Right there, the little pro knows that at the beginning of everything. The first rounds are the most important because you kind of become stronger than everyone else then. You get more crystals and create a snowball effect. Suddenly she asks what this does. But the little pro already looks scared, man. What she got was an elimination card. She asks if that's good. He says yes. This is an item that prevents you from getting certain items from the roulette. So, kind of indirectly increases the chance of receiving the others. He explains here. At first it's not very good, but later. It ends up being essential to get strong rewards really fast. He asks if she has always been lucky because it's rare to get this card. And a roulette with cost, she says that whenever she buys something in a box, she gets extra stuff when she goes to the market. The products are also always on discount, and besides that, she entered a raffle and won a cow. The little pro realizes that the damn girl was lucky. But it's okay since she had a lucky body. Now he's going to make use of everything we're already. The next morning, he's already going out to collect crystals, and she's confused, saying it's way too early, but he replies that today's goal is 100 crystals. And the little devil is already getting all excited, right, saying, wow, I could depend on this man. He's so manly and strong. Why I'm moaned like that, I don't know. But she's celebrating. The story writer isn't afraid of being canceled. No, girl, and put her in the kitchen, saying that she's finally in the woman's territory. She was going to make a meal worth the same value as 100 crystals, then gets canceled and goes on social media. I'm sorry, man. Oh my God. The gist of it is the protagonist is already back, dude. Even she's surprised, saying it was quick, and the guy thinks they're in a relationship. He immediately says he has good news and bad news. Which one does she want? She's a bit hesitant, but says she wants the good news first. He then says the good news is that there are almost no zombies left in this place, because he already killed most of them. She wants to know what the bad news is. So he shows that unfortunately, he only managed to get this much crystal. The big-headed girl looks excited, saying it's enough to give a little zap. But he explains that he went into every house in the entire area and only got this much at the moment. He mentions he's hungry, dude. I wonder if she prepared something? Oh my God, that's her meal made of 100 crystals. The thing even looks green, dude. But obviously the protagonist eats it, right? The guy's used to eating apocalypse floor food. He says the taste isn't that horrible, it's edible. Not as terrible as he imagined the filthy trash would be. She's kind of surprised he liked it, right, man? But with that, we're already at the roulette plate. He's eager to see what good kid she'll get this time. Damn, dude, a desert eagle. Ammo, a crossbow, arrows. She tells him to try, but he says no, right? Let her use the crystals while he grabs the rewards. But she's trying to seduce the guy. She grabs his little hand and blows on it, saying she passed the luck to him. This boy doesn't blush at all. He looks like he thinks this girl has some mental challenge. That's it. Oops, just kidding. Next chapter, he's all red-faced for real. The good part is that as items come off the wheel, it gets easier to get some. She's going to ask if she should use the card to remove the biscuit box, when suddenly, just by touching the card, it dissolves. She apologizes, saying she didn't know that's how you activated it. He said it's okay. At least now, there was a 1 in 5 chance of getting that medicine. They both beg, and finally the item drops, the one he wanted so badly. A body-strengthening medicine that makes the physique stronger. She's standing there all dumbfounded, asking if he's going to get stronger by taking it. And he said yes, but not to rush it because he's going to show something with it. He starts mixing something called heparin, which apparently is a medicine he got from the hospital along with what came out of the potion. She asks if he's turning 1 into 2, and he says it's something like that. Each will has different rewards and different ways to take advantage of each of them. The plan was to trade what was left in this bottle for some valuable item from someone else. Crazy. He's a scammer. It starts bubbling, and right then, he says he needs to lower the temperature and tells her to pay attention and learn everything. Because she's the one who's going to have to do this from now on. She's still curious, right? How does he know all this? But he tells her to be quiet, because he's hearing something strange. Suddenly, he runs off, pulling her along, and she's kind of confused. He just explains that something much worse than zombies is coming. The woman has no idea what could be worse than a zombie until she looks at the door and sees a giant mutated insect. The creature didn't have high combat ability, but the usual problem with insects is, right? They move in huge groups. Wow, just imagine a bunch of those cockroach monsters getting into the house. My God, that's truly terrifying. They go over there, pull the cabinet, block the door, and he says all mutated organisms will always attack humans, so she better stay alert. The creatures start banging on the door. She throws herself on our boy, and man, I didn't know her squats were up to date on this. The little pro talks to the sucker. Get away, idiot. I have to handle this alone. She stays like, damn, I love being trashed. He already pushes go, get lost, no. Boom, door shut. Now let's drink this stuff. And kill the bugs that are coming, even though he hated the side effects it caused. Outside, however, it's packed. The big roaches, the bugs are breaking down the door. Then he finally gulps it down, starts feeling something weird in his pupil. Falls to his knees as the first insect is already on top. With that thing in his mouth, disgusting. I don't even know what that is, man, damn. And it seems the attack hit hard, but when the other bugs come in check, the buddy already has the blade slicing the first one's abdomen, the head flying off the plate. At the same time he throws the first one, he jumps toward the others. Damn, he's all red-eyed, forming an aura already. The monster raises a barrier behind him. But even so, now he's slicing everything up. Bugs raining on the floor, man. Worse than those stinky bugs, right? My God, that room must be a nightmare. Not to mention bugs reproduce fast. He has to kill the queen. Otherwise, they'll keep coming. Right then, he feels a presence behind him. Looks like the damn queen has arrived, and he charges toward her. The bitch tries to spit poison at his foot, but he manages to jump. But he sees the stuff ran all over the wall. There's even a cool little collar that fell on the floor. And he asks if the damn thing came to avenge her kids. The monster advances, and he jumps, remembering exactly the weak spot of this creature, hitting a full strike on its back, and spinning the entire blade, man damn. He even made a helicopter move there. The poor thing suffered before dying, man. With that, he falls flat on his stomach. The little hero, however, even though he survived, is now all sore. That's because using this medicine wrecks his body, but nothing beats winning the fight and getting a hug from the ragtag gang, right, dude? But he notices she was all on the league team and tells her to stop crying. The apocalypse has just begun, fool. She explains she's crying because this place smells way too bad. That's true. Plus, there's a bunch of giant stinky bugs. Are you crazy? But he wants to know what they're going to do with all those corpses. He answers that those were wonderful things. She asks what he means. Oh my God. He explains that when food becomes scarce, the only food sources were the wheel, canned food, and a kind of juice made from parts of those insects. She said eating bugs is gross. But he says it's better to eat bugs than humans. Damn. Are you guys really taking the apocalypse seriously? Seriously? Are you really going to cook the bugs? I hope it's just for training because, for God's sake, you have refrigerators. Focus, dude. Let's eat a ton of lettuce. Stuff that's going to spoil. Save the bugs for later. While the poor girl got stuck with a smelly job, now our boy, as always, is going out to hunt. But warns that now he'll have to go farther, meaning it'll take longer, but he hopes to come back with more crystals. She says he can count on her, that she'll keep training for making medicines and cooking. Those critters. And the boss is all upset, telling her not to worry because he'll come back. And with that, he set off for another hunt. While the fool floats in the middle of nowhere. We're on the streets, lots of dead zombies everywhere. While the little hero is walking around until he hears someone screaming for help. Now he wants to know who the idiot is that's attracting all the zombies in the area. Turning the corner, oh my God. Look at the design, right? What are the chances of the new big buddy? And she's there asking for help. She seems kind of suspicious, right? He immediately snaps. Shut up, damn it. Everyone's going to die because of you, obviously. At the same time, a horde of zombies is coming up from behind. The first one approaches, trying to grab her jacket. But the protagonist pulls out a machete and slashes its head. He tells the damn girl to run that way. Meanwhile, she slips out through the side of the street, finds a small shop in the back, opens the door, and stands in front of a room inside. Crying desperately, she looks and sees our guy tearing everything up and calls out to him. Hey, damn dude, the boy was blowing zombie heads off. Same guy, but he's running like crazy. He's about to go through the door, but at the same moment he enters, another zombie is coming. The thing manages to block the door. The two notice this and have to run up the stairs. Oh my God, things aren't easy now. The protagonist doesn't care at all. He left the woman behind, but damn, she's too hot to abandon. Obviously, he grabs her by the arm, pulls her close by the waist while the zombie horde is below. Damn, men are hopeless. The boy risks everything just not to lose a piece of tail. Suddenly, the entire staircase lights up, with a beam of light shining directly on them, what looked like a meteor across the sky. The protagonist knows that was the key to a dungeon in the apocalypse. This is going to be one of the rarest items in the world, the only way to enter the mysterious lands. Those lands are full of items and hope, even 10 years into the future. Most guys from other ranks dreamed of having one of these. And in this life, he swears this thing will be his. But then, the girl told him to wake up to reality, right? The guy was about to get bitten. The protagonist punches the first zombie in the face and slashes the other with the machete. And says he almost lost his balls doing that. He climbs a bit more up the stairs. And finally has an easy path to deal with the creatures. Another advance, he cuts off another arm. The girl is in shock, dude, and suddenly, she even starts having some memories from a short time ago, when she was constantly surrounded by men who adored her. She was followed by everyone. She had money. She had knowledge. She had wisdom. You could say she was chosen. Like one of those spoiled by God. But everything changed. And suddenly she lost everything with her parents turning into zombies. She's there lying on the ground, giving up on everything. Saying she's going to die there. The protagonist, however, tells her to wake up to life. Dude keeps climbing while passing a ton of zombies. The girl comes up the body-decorated stairs, wants to know how he's killing so many zombies all alone. But he tells the damn girl to stop sitting there and do something, because he has to get out of there soon to go after that dungeon key. But that's when, right, another AI appears. My God. This man is so strong, I can rely on him. The little protagonist just warns that they're going up to the roof now, and that's where they'll find the exit. But suddenly both feel a strange sensation, and in front of them there are many vines. Oh, poor thing, man, mentally challenged. She's crazy to get caught by tentacles. No. Artists, don't go down that path. No, artists, don't get corrupted. You stop that few. The little protagonist saved her, guys. Cut everything and made the work. Available for all ages. Crazy. The damn one is just sneaky. Okay, now that she saw he's strong, she's already thinking about doing everything to make him fall for her charm. But the dude has a sixth sense for mischief, and he just dropped her on the ground like a stone. She's kind of confused. Meanwhile, he said they need to cut these ties here quickly to move forward. He turns around and tells her to stop wasting time. However, when trying to open the door, it seems stuck from the inside. She wants to know what they're going to do. He says it's easy. Son of a, watch out for a kick. But inside, he finds 3 guys, a whole family. Some kids. Oh, I thought it was inside. But actually they arrive from outside. Up on the roof, people want to know what the 2 are doing there. They say obviously it wasn't safe down below. The guys went up. But he's angry, and with good reason. You damn bastards, you broke the door. Now we're all gonna die. The next one, however, replies that he already killed all the zombies on the way, and there aren't any left. So they're calm. But the blonde guy tells him to shut up, and just tells the guys to put the door back in place, or else they're all going to die. That really puts the pressure on the little guy. And he says if a zombie climbs up, he'll be the first to jump. However, the human who looks more like a villain with that red mohawk says the boy doesn't know anything. Hey, chill out. The poor e-girl is all awkward. Meanwhile, our guy glances to the side and wants to know why there's so many people there, all scared in the corner. The blonde explains that it's the people who are down below who also fled from the zombies. He then apologizes to our guy, says it was a misunderstanding, and wants to know what they're planning to do, since these guys seem way too nice. Very suspicious. And the duckling says he wants to go to the school. Ning, probably where the dungeon key is. The blonde explains that it's crazy to go to that area. The streets are full of zombies. But Zong is telling the truth, right? He saw a strange light falling in that area and wants to go check out what's happening. The blonde said he's brave. Meanwhile, the protagonist just wants to know if he saw any easier path. Any shortcut. The survivor warns about a platform between the 2 buildings that he can jump to. But it's really dangerous. If someone falls on that, man, they will definitely become paraplegic. The protagonist is anxious and says he will make the jump. But the e-girl grabs him, saying she has to go with him. Don't leave me like this, she says. He replies it's okay, but she will have to carry the backpack. The blonde says he's crazy. Does he really think he can cross with that woman? He must want to die, both of them. They should leave the backpack with him. After they jump, he can throw it to him on the other side. Ah, clearly no one will believe that. The protagonist immediately tells her wake up and put that backpack on her back. She obeys. He ties a rope around her waist, and she clings to his back. The 2 are getting ready to jump, when the blonde suddenly puts the bat in his hand and says that backpack looks full of climbing gear and warns it's better for him to leave that backpack now, or he'll lose an arm. The protagonist just says he's really dumb and then jumps in front of the guys without caring. The guy lands on the other side carrying the newbies. Man, this is confusing. This guy is crazy to jump like that. The girl is crying, trembling, and saying she's okay at least. But man, apocalypse, right? There's always some perverts. Dee Dee's disciple is there watching and licking his lips, saying this is interesting. Wow. While the friends are even worse off? Huh. They really are Dee Dee's family. The guys are there watching this mess when the dude arrives and asks for a big cigarette. The blue-haired guy says no way, man. He got this cigarette in the body of an old man. He has very few, and if they're planning to invade a certain place from a school. But the bald guy says everything is closed. How are they going to manage? Mom doesn't say it's easy. Just throw a bunch of zombies and call the 5th brother to break everything. Suddenly, that 2-meter-tall buff guy bursts into the room wanting to know what's going on. This guy already mentions the 5th brother, so this place must be full of zombies outside, man. We're going to be trapped here forever. The blue-haired one says it's crazy. Overnight, everything changed. This apocalypse is a disaster. However, obviously the 5th brother is the worst and says they don't see the beauty of the apocalypse. Now they can do whatever they want and take advantage of whoever they want. The world changed, and now the strong rule. To them, this isn't the apocalypse. Yes, the skies, but at night, Around some corners, the protagonist sneaks, checking out the zombie crowd. He calls out to a girl who comes running. All beautiful in this escape, bam, she glances to the side. She keeps running, but is asking him to slow down. She's not a runner, dude. The prota, looking at her, just think he was fooled by that pretty face. Bringing that troublemaker was really stupid. Damn, he keeps speeding up. Telling her she better try to catch up while the girl is sweating a lot. Giving her all she's got not to be left behind. Suddenly, they reach a door. The prota knows that there, theoretically, was the school entrance, and suddenly there'll be some people inside. But one thing's for sure, it was also packed with zombies in there. In one of the rooms, the students are blocking a door, where several zombies are banging, and inside, everyone is already giving up on life. To them, all they could do now is wait. For death. That's when a girl sees two people arriving at the front door and shouts calling to them. The girl, whose name I still don't know, says there are living people because. The prota replies that their priority is to protect themselves, not to save anyone. However, the teenagers are all there screaming, begging for help with tears in their eyes. While the protagonist stays cold, saying those screams will only attract more zombies. And it's better for them to get away from there. The shouting continues, while the girl just turns around and apologizes. She's all sad for not being able to save anyone, because the protagonist explains that she has to stop being stupid. If they're trapped in a room, it's because there are lots of zombies in front of the door. If she wants so badly to save them, she should go alone and do something. Damn, the school just got hit out of nowhere, girl. The girl was completely disoriented. Walking through the schoolyard, several dead zombies. She wonders what he went there to do. Then she thanks him for saving her. And well, she wants to know the boy's name. Zone, however, says she's innocent. If she thinks a simple thank you will pay him back, she should know very well what he wants from her. Right, man, exactly. The guys use her as bait to attract several zombies. The fool realizes she's screwed. It would have been better if he was a normal guy. One who wanted her in some other way, and he himself warns her not to think she's precious or that he saved her because she's pretty, but because right now she's more useless to him than a pack of instant noodles. Damn, the kid doesn't stop either, man. He's a humiliation machine on the poor girl. Finally, she introduces herself and says her name is Liang Shuim. The silver hair guy says his name. She's all happy, right? Wow, she said that even though he smells bad, he's not a bad person. My God, silver hair guy, let's get those teeth brushed. Dude, getting roasted like a playgirl. Right then they see a bunch more students at the window, banging, begging for help. However, one of them is being eaten, while two others cry, and the protagonist knows it's exactly in this area where the so-called dance keys hadn't fallen. And suddenly the kid calls Spider-Man, starts climbing the pipe. Up there someone is being devoured by a zombie, and when he enters through the window, giving a kick, the monster falls to the ground. He already pulls out his shorts and finishes off the first one. Meanwhile there, some people are gathering with Teacher Pooh, asking for help and rescue. Ah, okay, the teacher thanks Pertinho for saving the students, while the protagonist is just thinking that maybe these people here have seen exactly where the dungeon key fell. The teacher goes near the body there and says it's a shame he died. She tells the rest of the students not to cry, that soon they would find a way out of this place. And if she wants to know, the protagonist went there. At that moment, he turns and says he's looking for something, and if they tell him, he promises to protect everyone there. Now that I see the teacher has all this talent, and she wants to know what he's looking for, he asks about that light that appeared in the sky and wants to know the location. The people seem to be kind of lying to the teacher. However, they say they saw it, but on one condition. First he has to save them. And only then will they tell him, oh protagonist. But they tell her to show proof that they saw the light. He then replies that he's not sure. But if he's talking about that glow that looked like a meteor that fell near the school, she says she saw it, protagonist. He realizes she really seems to have seen it and wants to know where it fell, because she insists that she'll only reveal it if he saves everyone. But the protagonist isn't here to negotiate and says that staying there is a death sentence. If they want, they can tell him, and he'll try to save everyone. The teacher wants to know if he guarantees everyone will come out alive. Our boy is honest and says no freaking way, man. We have a video back at school, and with the strength he has, at most, he guarantees 2 people will come out alive. But the students are being harsh, right? Saying if he can protect 2, he should be able to protect 3. And with the strength he has, he should be a good person and protect everyone there. Man, you guys are asking to die. And the protagonist is already catching on, Machete saying that in this world, the strong survive and the weak die. They better say now if they want to be saved. The boy is already clutching the teacher's chest. Lucky bastard. Saying he's very scared, she tells him not to worry, that she will protect him, while the protagonist just wants to know who will come with her. Hey kid. She says there's no reason to hesitate. He should take the 2 students. She said it's fine, so he will take the boys. But where? Where did the meteor fall? She answers that when they are safe. Down there, she will write everything on a piece of paper and throw it to him. The silver-haired guy realizes this bitch really wasn't stupid. She wasn't going to make his life easy. He replies that he hopes her sacrifice will be worth something and tells them to come quickly. The students don't say goodbye to the teacher. The silver-haired guy goes to the door, immediately noticing at least 3 outside. He tells the teacher that the moment he leaves, she must close the door and make no more noise. The moment he turns the doorknob, the first one appears. He kicks him in the head, and the guy crashes against the wall. At the same time, he tells the kids to follow, and charges, slashing the first one's head. Everyone rushes in, while the teacher waves goodbye to the students and closes the little door. She lost her only chance to survive, but she had to protect the students until the end. Already on the stairs, the protagonist is running with the 2 fools, chasing from behind. The problem is he had to be very fast to get through there because otherwise, if those kids get caught by any zombie, they'll be instantly defeated. But suddenly he feels a strange sensation and tells the 2 to fall back. Now the girl wants to know what's wrong, and he just says there's some danger he doesn't understand. But it's coming. She looks over, saying maybe he felt something wrong coming from the empty staircase. He thinks maybe he really did feel something wrong. But what are the chances of that, right, dude? Obviously, the moment he moves forward again, something is watching the trio from above. Suddenly, a blue monster with a big tongue out of nowhere approaches, and the little pro feels something on his back. The girl gets startled and bumps in the backpack, but apparently he didn't see anything. Did the monster hide, or is it telling them to stay quiet? Again, he feels like maybe his intuition is going crazy. He really isn't seeing the creature, but obviously it hid on the stair beside them, above, while the little pro talks below, saying they will keep moving forward. They go down another step, but the big beast is already behind her, and man, my God, a gigantic monster. The little pro went ahead. I'm feeling like these 2 kids are going to be devoured in one bite. The tongue is touching her hair. The girl looks confused as she turns around. The mouth is about to devour her when the little pro's knife flies out and cuts the beast out of nowhere. Our boy threw the knife, but he's shaking all over, scared as hell too, right, dude? And the big monster didn't come back, now that it's unarmed. At the same second, it lunges at him to grab him, but the little pro ducks and manages to land a hit right in the mouth. It would have been easier for that hand to be eaten. And the worst part is these monsters have metallic skin, so no damage was done at all. The little pro is confused because this beast evolved so fast. Then he tries a spinning kick, but the kick does absolutely nothing. Even worse, the monster grabs his leg. Look at the kid on the ground, man. Everything's about to get wrecked. The girls are up the stairs, trembling, unable to even get off the floor. The one in yellow tells Lily to help. But nope, Lily went up, while the monster is raising its hammer to smash the little pro. He sees the attack coming and is sure there's no way to escape. Meanwhile, the girl is desperate, knowing she's next. But then the American bird jumps into action, that gadget our boy grabbed from the roulette. There's clearly a buff. He easily pierced through the zombie. He's in shock, thinking he barely escaped death. He already tells the girls to get up quickly, but the problem is that the snap of a fucking gun is attracting all the zombies in the building. Hearing the noise from below, the girls know there's no way they can come down. But just when they all think they're going to die, suddenly Shuin appears in front of them. She's all desperate, clinging to our boy, saying he's crazy for leaving her there alone. The kids are relieved it's a human, while Shuin calls him a bastard. She says he left her abandoned. She was scared she was going to die. And Prada cuts through all the drama, just saying she seems tired of dying, since she went up there alone, but she explains that it seemed like there was a strange glow, a certain light, a direction, and the zombies all went that way. Prada knows the only kind of glow that attracts all zombies like that is the appearance of one of those wheels. They're coming down the stairs, and Aunt Een gets emotional that the little guy saved 2 kids, right? Little does she know he's probably itching to kill both of them, but now there's a fight going on between 2 friends, because the one in blue abandoned the one in yellow to die, who's not really in the mood to talk now. Meanwhile, down below, the little guy stops and gives a glare to the teacher at the window. From above, she's happy that at least the kids were saved, but she's thinking that now that she's going to hand over that paper, he won't come to save her. She could ask for more, but maybe that wouldn't be the right thing to do, because the kids are already in his hands, so she just lets go of the little paper. Meanwhile, Aunt Een is impressed that there really was one more person. Up there, the little duck keeps praising, saying that she really is an amazing teacher. Friend, wanna know why he didn't save? But he just completely ignores it while watching her markings. Now he knows he can go for the key, or he can go for the roulette. Since he's with a lot of people he doesn't want to know about the existence of the keys, he decides that the roulette for now might be more important, especially since it would be good to get stronger before going to that dungeon. That's it. He turns to the kids and says that if they want, they can follow them, because they're heading somewhere else. Next scene, they're in front of another building where the Chunny knew most of the zombies had entered. The mischievous kids, however, ask if he's really looking for death. Going to a place full of zombies now that he already got what he needed from the teacher. He was planning to use them as bait, Proda. He turns to Uncle Hin and tells him not to worry while warning the kids that there's no place in this world without zombies. Besides, he wouldn't be so despicable as to use them as bait. With that, the little Proda is inside the room, while Uncle Hin wants to know what's so important, that the little guy is risking himself like this. The kids are starting to get scared and think they'll soon end up dying following this guy. And the one in the blue shirt, right, who's the 16 IQ, is sure he's going to shoot and soon fill the place with zombies. Then she pulls her friend's yellow shirt and says it's better they run away and find a place to hide. The other, more honest one, says it's crazy they're going to abandon the two like that, especially since the boy already saved them and everything. And that little Annie asks what they're doing. And the blue-haired girl says she has a stomachache and is going to the bathroom. Quickly, she pulls her friend, but the little Annie obviously finds all this very suspicious, while praying that the zombie gets out of that room safely, please. The guy inside, the protagonist, is really facing a crowd of zombies. At least none of them had mutated, so they would be easy to deal with. His arm was kind of broken. After the fight with that big guy, he fixed it up a bit. I don't know how, right? Just sheer willpower. Even though it still hurt, at least he could use it in the fight. At that moment, the zombie rushes at him, and he immediately pulls out the pistol and the machete. He fires the first shot, and everyone outside gets startled. At the same time, the blue-haired friend says they have to get out of there urgently. This place is going to fill up with zombies. The one in yellow says it's crazy, but the other says there's a teacher's lounge that might have food, and they can hide there and be safe. She tries to pull the yellow one's leg, but she pulls her hand away and runs to Chunha, telling her to come along, saying they should escape. The blue-haired girl is angry now with another person. They'll have to share food, not to mention it will be even harder to escape from that kid, Tywin, but she says she's not interested because leaving the zombie behind would be crazy. How long did they think they'd survive? He was strong in a situation like this. Leaving him was the same as dying. The yellow one says she's going crazy. That kid doesn't even know how to protect himself and keeps attracting a bunch of zombies. But this girl has amnesia too, right? It seems like 10 seconds ago. She didn't see him fighting a bunch of zombies, and Tywin insists she's going to stay by his side anyway. Inside the room, there was a pile of corpses, and the protagonist says, as expected, the guess was right. The zombies had been attracted by this roulette. But this wasn't a normal one. It was a 3-color roulette. The protagonist explains that besides the roulettes from 1 to 9, there are also these different ones. There's the 3-color roulette and the 6-color roulette. 9 colors, there are several. Ugly damn roulette. And it's in these colors that you can get the professions and the color. Obviously represents the type of profession you get. One of the best to get, for example, was assassin, right, where you kill the person more easily. The difference is that it's 5 times harder to find a colored roulette than a normal roulette. And he didn't expect to find one of those right here, wow. However, these roulettes have the black area that has the risk of exploding like a bomb. If he had that friend's card there, right, it would be good, man. The duck is scared now because he's the famous, unlucky guy. However, this boy also lived 10 years in the apocalypse. He's all dumb, thinking that that little luck below the girl gave will make all the difference. I'm outside on the street. The girl in yellow clothes is telling Uncle ING that it's better they get out of there now. This kid won't come back. The zombie stops screaming. He must have already been devoured. Damn, Uncle Ming, what's this? My daughter went to the silicone roulette, and she's saying she's sure the monsters stopped screaming because the Zaminga killed them all. However, the last one in blue clothes appears and says he must have already died. It's best to take advantage and get out of there now, and she pulls. The friend still warns it's best not to be like that idiot, who keeps thinking that this Zaminga guy is an invincible savior already. His corpse will be coming out of there soon. Oh, crazy girl. Uncle slaps her face, telling her to shut up. This is going to be a woman fight, girl. The girl got angry and slapped her back too. I thought there would be a proper fight too, but the other. One ran off now. Meanwhile, the director is at the window watching everything, saying this apocalypse is interesting, and then tells the little brothers down there to capture that girl. The little brothers aren't interested though. The kid's saying there are tons of zombies and they don't want any of it. But Dee Dee tells them to take advantage since the kid attracted all of them to the center. So right now it's empty, no zombies, and the two fools are there going down a staircase, saying they finally escaped those idiots when they run into a shaking truck. They wonder what it is, but the scene cuts back to Uncle Ian, saying those damn girls were saved by zooming, and now they're acting so ungrateful. Suddenly, she hears a scream and immediately remembers it's the two students' voices. But the weird guy comes from behind and grabs her by the waist, saying it's time for her to meet the crew. Here comes another disciple of Dee Dee, right? Saying this one's better than the last. The guys are already getting closer, saying it's rare to find a girl so pretty and so dumb, while she's lost in this apocalypse. Meanwhile, the little duck was still collecting crystal from the zombie's head, the two fools who escaped from them. Now, they're running from the zombie that came out of the truck screaming for help. The zombies are closing in. They're desperate. But the one in blue trips on ground. Oh my god, the one in yellow is a complete idiot, right? She want to help, but ends up being used as support and thrown backwards. And she's going to be devoured. Meanwhile, the one in blue is running around the corner, saying she has to survive. That's the most important thing. When she runs into a chim being taken by two guys, and they're saying it's going to be great to take advantage of this baby. Dee Dee's spirit doesn't stop, right? But then Uncle Ian runs into the other one. She slapped her in the face. Oh no, kid, but now she's screwed because the guy is greedy. And he went after her too, saying he's going to take another one for them. But then Uncle Ian takes advantage of the fact there's only one holding her, bites his hand, and runs away. But don't come after me, telling the bastard to stay put. She manages to hit him on the head. He falls to the ground. He throws her by the neck and says he's going to settle this now. So, with a million stabbed on his hand, the little guy already pulled his woman into his arms. Boy, she's all emotional, wow. Calm down, girl. The fight isn't over yet, especially since the protag stabbed him and left him in that guy's hands. Man, he's not bleeding at all. And the crazy guy's screaming desperately, saying the fifth brother won't let him get away like this. But the protag just steps forward and lands a hit right in the guy's stomach. He rolls back, then comes with a reverse kick and bam, right in the face. The guy passes out. Then he tells the uncle to wait there. He says he has some business to settle and asks where the other girls are. She says they ran off in that direction. The protag follows. Meanwhile, the fool on the ground is crying desperately. Looks like the protag already saw the other girl's body and knows she was devoured. And Tywin says she's really been saved twice now and doesn't listen to anyone. What a dumb soul. The fool is still apologizing, saying she'll never act like that again, while Chuum wants to know what the protag plans to do with those bastards nearby. He tells her not to worry, the zombies will eat them. No, protag, that's not how you do it. You grab the machete and slice both their necks. That's how you make sure they die. That's right. The protag tells the two to head to the media center. He says he killed them all. Obviously, that greedy bastard I want. Her neck destroyed and slashed. She's there celebrating, now sure that Zhou Ming is strong. Maybe that girl was right. It was better to stay close to him. The protag turns and tells them to wait there. He has to take a certain someone there. True, right? Now I remember our dear ugly Mushin he left at the house at the start. Or maybe it's not her, because the teacher is in the room there. And there are a bunch of zombies banging on the door. She's confused, thinking maybe it's her turn after so many students have been killed. Hey, you bastard who censored this. Do you think you can hide the power of this teacher? Have you seen how strong she is, man? Crazy, right? And she decided it's better to end her own suffering than to become a zombie. And her biggest sadness in this life is that she's going to die without ever having had a boyfriend. But right then the door breaks down, and obviously, who shows up? Loyal Pertinia, saying it took too long to open, for God's sake. He asks if she's okay, and then she drops the glass. She cries there like a complete mess. He said it was obvious he'd come back to save her. Oh, you rascal. You think so, right? He only saved her for some reason I still don't know. Oh, right, because she knows where the meteor fell. True. And she's there activating the car's airbags. And for the first time, Pertinia is a little flushed, huh? Looks like we found the boy's weak spot. She says she was sure he was dead. And it's good to see he really survived. Pertinia says he's going to take her to a safe place. Meanwhile, the girls are there, collecting crystals from the zombies' heads. Hey, Uncle Win doesn't understand why Zaiming keeps asking her to get them all the time. Meanwhile, the damn one I want to be beheaded is angry, saying that this bastard is making her do disgusting things. At that moment, Professor Pooh comes calling for that Lily girl. They hug and get all happy. The giant professor, however, wants to know where Chow Chow is. Lily explains, kind of trying to make it seem like she went to the afterlife. But the professor thinks the girl is traumatized and gives her a comforting pat. She didn't like it, but interrupts, saying that if they had trusted Zhong Ming, none of this would have happened. But this Lily is really awful, still blaming Zhong Ming for initially deciding to save only two, instead of saving the professor too. Shu insists, saying they should be grateful to have saved anyone at all. Look over there, but she says she won't be grateful. Someone who could have saved everyone, but she prefers not to. And the two are arguing, cursing at each other, saying this and that, until bam, she gets slapped in the face. The thread is ready. Amanda shuts up, saying that just because he saved her once doesn't mean he won't send her back to the zombies again. Besides, she'd better remember he has no obligation whatsoever to protect her, damn kid. Talking about the little plate, she almost stabbed instead of slapped. But it's okay. Even the teacher is mad at Lily, telling her to be more grateful to the person who saved them both. Uncle Ian realizes that at least the teacher, knows the situation they were in. Then Uncle Ian wants to know, right, why our boy is collecting these crystals. He just says to keep going, and that he'll explain why. And there we are at the roulette, man. And Tuinga asks if they should go. He says he'll explain how to use it. He grabs Lily's crystal there, also a sucker, and immediately starts activation. The problem with skill roulettes is there's no crystal limit. You have to put in a ton, and eventually it activates. He just hopes 26 will be enough to spin at least one. Finally, everything starts spinning, and he cheers, saying at least it worked. The thing lands in the red zone, and a strange block comes out from inside. For him, that was perfect because red was the combat classes. The class, however, that dropped was a glorious artisan, allowing technique refinement, skill improvement, and crafting certain items. And apparently, it was a construction class. Oops, but he doesn't seem excited about any of that crazy. He said red was only damage classes, but in the next chapter, tell me, right? This one he got, the construction class, is actually a support class. My classes are usually divided into ranks: trainee, novice, intermediate, and advanced, and he's exhausted, right? For having achieved something like that. Support is really annoying. Then they're telling him to just show what he got already. Oh, the Annie doesn't seem very interested. And send it to the tall teacher, right? When the artist doesn't censor. We see the fierce talent. Besides that, he's kind of confused because he got this strange flag there that has a bunch of symbols all over. The girls are reading it and seem to realize it kind of reminded them of something related to a game. Then Uncle Ian says that apparently a craftsman can create techniques of up to 5 types. At the same time, if it catches the men's attention. Who's asking to take another look now? It was explained because that little medal had 5 colors, each representing a skill. Apparently this was good because he wonders if he was really born lucky in this life. At that moment, he tells them to go collect more crystal now because they need as much as possible to gain an advantage. Teacher, and the other one is kind of excited while Lily is just in the corner giving that stare. Meanwhile, Dee Dee watches everyone, realizing this guy was strangely strong. How is the kid killing so many zombies alone? What he doesn't understand is why all the bodies are being taken inside. Then he notices not only that, they seem to be pulling something from their foreheads. Oh, the bald guy asks, what Gil is discovering there, man? But he immediately calls all the brothers because they had work to do. He found the sneaky little secret. Meanwhile, down below, Uncle Ian says maybe this is enough. Oh man, what angle is that, son? Just to show that little belly and say she's hungry. The guy hands her water to eat, and she thanks him while he says he already checked the water from his place, and maybe there's still water to drink, probably the school's water tank. Hadn't been damaged yet. Then he starts taking off his backpack and tells her that inside there's enough food for 3 days, plus medicine and stuff that he wants her to take care of. Suddenly she's kind of confused, and he just tells her to be very careful because this has now become extremely valuable. That's because the little guy wants to leave. He can't risk taking this outside and losing it crazy. However, the girl is terrified, saying she doesn't want to keep something so valuable like that. No. He, however, says he'll have to trust her temporarily. For now, this place will be their shelter until they finally finish collecting the crystals. At that moment, the super annoying Lily shows up again, right? To do what she does best. Annoy him, asking if he's going to abandon everyone. He answers yes. For now, he's going to abandon everyone there. He'll go look for resources because they would only get in the way, damn. The girl even activated the craftsman technique there, turning a piece of wood into a spear, and warned that he already made it clear he has no obligation to protect anyone there. If they wanted to survive, they should use that to defend themselves. Otherwise, death awaited them all. Lily is there with water, but the teacher says she understands that in this new world, they also need to learn to protect themselves. And with that, she grabs Lily by the arm and says she has to understand that life has changed. Girl, you no longer have your parents to protect you. No, the little guy tells her to grab the big stick and learn to defend herself. However, as he's leaving, he finds Win, calls out to him, and asks him to come back safely. The little guy, however, just gives that Aries bitch vibe. And with that, we're outside. Obviously, he's on the hunt for the dungeon key, which is the most important thing, and that's why he didn't want to bring any of the girls. Finally, he manages to find the construction area of the annex of the school, which is where, in theory, it fell. But when he's just standing there zoning out like a fool, suddenly something approaches. What the heck? Out of nowhere, and nobody lands in his hand. Man, send me to this world right now. I want in. Girl, just open your arms. Prada is in shock. The woman is confused too. But what's this? Calm down. She's a Beyblade. She spun out, dude, landed on his back, grabbed his arm, immobilized the boy, wanting to know what he's doing there. But the boy isn't dumb either. He slipped underneath. A big hand on the neck, bam, slammed him against the wall. Man, she asks if he's lost his mind hitting a cop. Hey, you hit him first? Are you crazy, girl? Shortly after she's there, arm locked on his neck, saying he actually has good reflexes. He replies he's been training for 10 years. And she's impressed, saying she's been training even longer than him. When she's about to say something else, suddenly, an American project almost catches both of them, and they have to hide. Take cover. The protagonist is confused, wondering why they're suddenly being shot at, and he explains it's her who's being hunted. The protagonist finds it strange, right? Why would they want to kill a cop? And she says it's exactly because she's a cop that they want to kill her. That's because it was a bunch of prisoners. The protagonist remembers that in his past life too. Those damn prisoners, when they broke free, wanted to kill everyone like ants. At least it's because of guys like that he doesn't have to be merciful. The problem is those bastards are causing a lot of trouble. He doesn't know where those damn guys got weapons from. He explains that they managed to take control of the police station and grabbed everything they had there. Next chapter, she's trying to see if the guy is alive. My friend, he's more full of holes than Swiss cheese. Clearly no need to check if he's breathing. That's it. No way. I came back to check if something was missing in the last chapter. But no, this is really it. And it seems like the protagonist was the one who killed that guy. Now it's clear why he's so wounded. She's kind of scared. Want to know why he says he's a prisoner who harms others. And with shooting, he deserved that. If she really thought he was going to let that guy walk away alive. She was naive. She said he's crazy. However, he warns that there are no more laws in this world. Those guys who were just there to steal and kill didn't deserve to live. He's saying all this very dark, right? While remembering that in his past life, Tadabai and Cece were killed by this kind of guy. And he warns that's why he shows no mercy to anyone. Well, we have to deduce, right, that he killed all three because there was no footage. I went back to check if I could find it and didn't find anything. So yeah, that's it. The cop is thinking that even though he was a bit extreme, what he said kind of made sense. So she's a bit confused. This kid is way too young to be killing someone like that. Without hesitating for a second, what happened to this boy to turn him into such a cold-blooded young man? Meanwhile, there's a pineapple head warning Yuri that the guys he sent there already got shot and were also eaten by zombies. Yuri is kind of confused that everyone died, and Pineapple says, damn, bro, that kid was practicing martial arts, right? Why don't we just let him live and ignore him for now? He gets punched in the face, obviously, and Yuri says no way. He's the boss of this area. He wants all the women, and he's going to run everything. He asks if everyone's gathered, and Pineapple says yes. They're ready then, I'd say. He opens the door and tells everyone to shout because they're going out hunting. Today, they're going to take down that arrogant kid. Today, they're going to take down that arrogant kid who had the guts to step into their territory and kill the brothers. The troublemaker was the one who sent the brothers, but he just takes another hit in the face. And then Jiro says the reason he's dead doesn't matter. What matters is that this kid is in their area. They can't let him stay there. Anyone who provokes them has to be killed. The idiots all cheer, saying the boss is right. And he warns that today this kid dies, that damn troublemaker. Want to know how he can help? Surely he's going to be used as bait. Meanwhile, outside, the silver guy is picking something up from the ground. The cop wants to know, right? What's he looking for? And he says it's an important key. She wants to know how the tea is going, and he has to answer that he actually has no idea. Let's say her design is pretty unique to the point that the moment she sees it, she'll know exactly what it is. However, the truth is he's waiting for it to get dark, because the key emits a very faint light, but it already helps to locate it. Suddenly, she says she found it and asks if this is it. When he turns around, it's actually a key with a little creature from that anime. Man, the protagonist has to explain that the design is unique, but it's not that one. She throws it away into the corner, but it falls at the feet of some creature coming out of the smoke. The boss says there's a dog coming, and when the protagonist goes to check, he notices it looks more like some kind of zombie. The cop explains it was probably one of the dogs they train at the base. But then the beast comes out of the smoke, covered in horns on its head. The monster opens a mouth full of little balls and immediately jumps towards Zami. The protagonist gets startled. The big-mouthed one comes straight at him. He instantly recognizes it as a level 2 molted dog. Man, the beast is fast because the American shots are all missing badly. Wow, he's going to be thrown to the ground, the girl screams. I'm telling him to be careful. The big bite is almost hitting his face, but strangely, the guy gives him a little sniff and gets excited. The dude is kind of confused, wondering what happened to this crazy dog. Meanwhile, the policewoman said he clearly seemed to be kind of liking the guy. This boy is watching him wag his tail in a weird way. Oh my god, here comes a flashback. You're telling me he saved this dog once? That's our mini protagonist right there. Walking down the street when he sees this skinny dog, and a guy is about to step on him, but the little dog is quick. The kid stole the bread and ran off. The chubby guy said he's going to kill him. Throws the bottle, man. I thought the little duck was going to jump in, but he really got hit with a bottle, and just as the guy tries to step on his back, the little dog tries to get away, but then the kid shows up behind and calls out to the dude, telling him to stop that. Now here's a question. What is the kid doing here, little guy? He explains that this dog has a fierce bacteria, bit his arm once. He was infected for a few days. The chubby guy is already getting agitated. And our boy says it's better not to touch him, or he might catch some disease. Then the kid's gonna die real fast. Meanwhile, the little dog walks away and the big guy scratches his belly, saying he's really unlucky not to be able to step on that damn thing. Prado got all emotional, saying he did a good deed. But when he looked down, the little dog was stuck to his foot. He felt sorry for the little guy who had hurt his tail since the guy actually stepped on it. But then he gave him a little biscuit to eat, though he saw he was still hurting. It was just a shame because he couldn't take him home. His family didn't have the money to raise a dog, kid. Man, I'm already emotional that you didn't eat him, right? Usually in these Chinese works, that's what happens. Looks like our boy went to visit him several times. And now he knows that he's the so-called yellow pill, my God in heaven. What a horrible name you gave your dog. A girl from the army said he was lucky it was with someone he knows, but she comments that the name is peculiar. The prototype explains that when he found the animal, it was kind of long and yellow. That's why he gave it that name. Truly a genius. He's there having fun while the other one is all emotional and cross-eyed. As hell, right? Saying he really has a cute side. Meanwhile, back at the girl's base, Lily keeps working overtime, saying that Uncle Wing clearly has more food in that backpack. Guys, food isn't our girl's strong suit. And she said no, she doesn't have any. But Lily knows she's an idiot who's lying. And that backpack is full of food boxes and cans, and she doesn't want to share. Great, but I tell her to stay quiet and be happy. She already gave her some cookies to eat. And that was better than nothing. Otherwise, it was better for her to vomit it back up. And here comes Lily putting her hand in the backpack, saying that since she's not going to give it, she'll take it. But little Wing just pulls at her chest, saying that Joe Wing asked her to take care of it, and no one there has permission to touch it. Lily keeps insisting, saying not to use Joe Wing to try to scare her, because he's not even there, while the teacher asks everyone to calm down, saying the girl is probably right, and it's good to save food anyway. Now that I notice, everyone in this story is kind of cross-eyed, man. He's there saying she's really a dog, working for others. That's the only thing she's good for. Meanwhile, Taiyunam has already lost patience with her. This girl was way too arrogant. Enough, she'll never give her food. The teacher says to the brat that this food doesn't belong to them. Besides, she already shared some, so they should just be happy. But Lele is there looking super grumpy, saying that damn teacher was way too kind. This Joe Wing keeps risking his life all the time. Who knows if he'll even come back? That's right, the little guy from afar is coughing, man. So far, he's still stuck on the damn dungeon key. But now there's something else watching from the smoke. And this time, it doesn't look like a friendly dog, but that's exactly when the little guy sees a golden shine among the stones, man, and there it is. The key is good. This dungeon is worth it because it was really tough. He celebrates finally finding it, and she's about to praise him when suddenly there's a tongue next to her. A giant four-eyed frog lizard comes pulling to bite her. But Mr. Miguel manages to move forward and cuts the tongue man. Already activating the craftsman's strengthening, he adds another power boost to the dagger. However, he realizes that if it weren't for the class, he wouldn't have been able to cut it. His physical strength wasn't enough to face this beast head-on. The monster comes to strike again, but the little guy manages to duck. While the pill goes for the big foot and bites it, the monster is kind of confused being attacked by another monster while the little guy now appears on the side and pierces the first eye. It's tough, yeah. You're going to aim for the eye of a beast that has 16 eyes. It won't help much, man, and the kid's cardio isn't in shape. Not that he jumped and dodged once and is already exhausted. Saying his stamina isn't enough, he hides behind some rocks. He tells the beast to come on, ready to advance, but suddenly the pill steps in front of our little guy. He tells him to dodge, but the beast just lets out a roar, showing that it's actually a dog. It's a bark. Strangely, the lizard seems to back off a bit, trying to dodge while the pill is there, barking and barking, until the beast bites down hard, destroying the ground. But the pill moves to the side and manages to bite the shell. It was going too well, right, kid? The beast threw him up and then hit him with a tail smack right in the belly, sending him flying like a torpedo. The beast is all twisted with half-closed eyes while the beast comes to finish with a claw strike. Now it's the protagonist who has to get involved, advancing while holding the blade there. He manages the attack, but is also thrown far away. However, in the middle of the bite that the beast is about to deliver, suddenly something pierces right through its mouth, man. Talk about the cop. The sun's saving our boy. A stranger falls to the ground, and the little protagonist relaxes, saying phew. As expected from a cop, she looks kind of exhausted. Meanwhile, the pillar approaches, and he pets the damn thing. But it's barking and licking. While obviously, there must be someone else approaching through that smoke. My God, people. Get out of there. The little protagonist is already in the beast's brain, and he calls the cop to take a look, showing the crystal, which was one of the most valuable resources in this apocalypse. Oh man, it even gave off a little gray glow. I thought it would be a more responsive little crystal. Get out of here. Such a pain to kill this monster. And she asks if this thing really has magic, and he explains that it's something similar, but even more incredible. She wants to know what kind of magic and what it's for. He says if she's so curious, she'll have to agree to one condition. But she turns around angrily, saying she's not interested. No way. She's a cop. She won't agree to the terms of a civilian like this guy. She can just investigate and find out what this crystal is for. Then what the little protagonist discovered is that not every woman is like the first 12 he showed his strength to once. And they were all there without a father. Oh man, and she says now that he found the key, he can leave. Even the little protagonist is surprised, saying, huh, our friendship ended just like that, friend? Suddenly his face changes, right? Naughty, saying, haha, actually I have something to ask you. So as you can see, this world here is grim, right? Full of bad people. Why don't we form a team to look out for each other? Haha, I know you're trying to be careful. Huh, that cop's pretty tough. Even the little guy is kind of disappointed that he has to be so humble like this. Meanwhile, she's giving him a laser stare and says, okay. Even though your actions are a bit extreme, you're not such a bad person. The little guy reaches out his hand to introduce himself. And finally, I'm going to find out the name of that damn woman, almost a lady. The next chapter starts with a body on the ground. The guy grabs a pistol and gets all excited while the other one with a scar on his nose tells him to stay very quiet or they'll get discovered. He points to the side and says, we're going over there and no noise at all, obviously. But they're already spotted the little guy from afar. Huh? The dude told them to be silent, but now he's yelling. Hey, you sons of bitches, stay right there. The scar guy says he's crazy, but he replies, man, we're here to kill, kid. Yuri told us not to spare anyone. And with that, he already points the machete. The woman has no idea who they are, and the protagonist says it's obvious, right? Clearly, those damn guys were criminals. The dude tries to shoot a few times there, but strangely, the gun isn't working. The friend already says, you crazy bastard, you have to deactivate the safety device. But the idiot is all confused, wondering what the hell this device thing is. While they're having this chat, the dog comes sneaking up from the side and jumps, biting the guy's hand. Man, that was brutal. Right then, the guy screams desperately, asking for help from the other guy there. But the dude is already in shock too. He doesn't stand a chance against a zombie like that. At the same time, the woman sneaks behind and elbows the idiot right in the mouth. She threw her arm over his shoulder and slammed him to the ground. Man, she's strong. The little guy is there scared, thinking it's really best not to mess with her. In the future, sometime later, the dude is already on the ground, and I'll tell you who the fifth brother is. but you have to stop this bleeding on my arm. The little guy, however, says he's not the one who's in danger of dying. So it's better to tell it right away. Meanwhile, back at Yuri's base, and Pineapple Head is saying they should go back to eat the guy, but he tells him to keep going, and Pineapple asks, "Hey bro, why aren't you collecting those things from the zombie's forehead? Disgusting stuff, get away from it." Yuri asks if he knows what the word loot means. The blonde kid says yes, loot is like equipment items. But this clearly shouldn't be that, wow. He got smacked on the head and went all cross-eyed. This pineapple is getting beaten so much that I think eventually he's the one who will kill Yuri. Who's there celebrating, saying he has no idea what these crystals are for. But if that kid was risking himself for this, there's something to it. This guy is at Proto's base. Look who's staring at Tyne Hinho sleeping. Get out of here, you weirdo. You've deserved to die a long time ago. And she stood up, came in front of her with that creepy smile and what's that, kid? Holding a big jar in your hand. Still bleeding, thinking, that damn Tywin always using Zoming's name to threaten. And acting arrogantly, this shit is. Having all the resources to survive, and now will die by my hands. But then the teacher stands up and asks what Lily is doing. She turns away, hiding the thing, saying she felt a little sick and was going to the bathroom. Nothing suspicious. Weirdo, get out. And Lily is there even angrier. Want to know why? This teacher also has to be so innocent and so stupid. This was the apocalypse world. Resources were important. So why doesn't she help her get away from those people? Not to mention that Za Wing and Chuan were already starting to cause trouble with her for real. Oh my god. And the dude already sees, right? It's not because you're the person who deserves to die the most in this apocalypse. But right at that moment, a loud noise is heard from outside. The three are already getting ready. Wanted to know what's going on. The aunt explains that something is banging on the door. The teacher is scared, while the aunt says that in theory, everything is fine. Zombies won't be able to get into this place. The problem is that whoever is banging on the door is almost breaking everything, and they're desperate. Wanting to know who's on the other side. Suddenly, there's a second of silence, and then another huge bang. Right then, Lily screams, saying this place is going to be destroyed. Suddenly, the thing rises and a bunch of guys appear. Oh my god, and the crazy guy already saw it, right? The day's follower. The first thing he says is that he found some wonderful women here. The teacher wants to know what they're doing there. And man, in a second, the guy already grabbed Aunt Ninha's wooden stick and took it from her hand, while another, holding a portable weapon, is right in Aunt Ninha's face, saying she's pretty hot. They're only perverts in this apocalyptic world, right? For God's sake. Then, however, one with white hair says there was another girl with short hair who ran away. They were supposed to capture her. The guy says the fifth brother didn't ask to kill the girls, only to take out the so-called boy over there. But this Don Zeke, the white-haired one, says the boss isn't here, so he's in charge. Besides, those girls were his companions, so they're going to capture all of them. Big Mac said he's going to go capture her. But buddy, you are not in any condition to run. Meanwhile, one with a sharp haircut sticks to the teacher, wanting to know her name, and asks if she doesn't recognize him. Crazy. It looks like he used to be a student, going at it with a big hand. Get out of here, you crazy guy. Oh my god, here we go again. The bald guy is there pulling on Uncle In's jacket, saying she even looks somewhat familiar. Ah, they recognize her as an online celebrity from a certain social network. If he's not mistaken, her name is Leong in Uncle In. Nertinia, I know you've got those two guys tied up upside down, but how about heading back to base as fast as possible? The woman wants to know the next steps, and he says, since there are people wanting to see me dead, I'll have to kill those guys and pay them a little visit. Moe thinks they need to gather some weapons first and prepare. However, he says she's dreaming. This world is chaotic. Hiding isn't his style. They're going to settle this directly. Heading to those guys' base, she just agrees. She says it's fine, but she wants to know what the key is for. She says it's a dungeon key, something that will open in the future. She doesn't get it, right? Dungeon? Opening in the future? Magic? What's going on? And he tells her to start getting used to it. More and more things beyond their imagination will start happening. She wants to know when to use the key. He says only when they're strong enough. Until then. At the base, Lily is running away from McDonald's. Man, she's really on the move. Who said Ronaldinho isn't fit? Fit, but he warns that if she doesn't stay still, when he catches her, he'll break her legs and arms. And Lily ran right into a doorman, right on the spot. McDonald's came up from behind and warns that now she has nowhere to run, slams her head into the door, and says he hates it because all the girls hate him. But now that the apocalypse has come, none of that matters because he can create his own opportunities. That's not exactly how it works, you bastard over there. But the manipulative girl said he's not strange at all. She would never speak badly of him. The bald guy is all. Why should I trust you? She grabs his hand and says that. Unlike those girls, she's just a student. Besides, she realized he wasn't disgusting at all. Actually, he seemed like a very strong man, if he wanted to. She would do everything he wanted. I don't get it. To prevent it from happening, she decided to make it happen. Let's put it that way, right? I think you get it, wow. And she was rejected by McDonald's, who said her looks were mediocre. However, he can't betray his brother. That was good. She went straight to meet the group with him. She asked him not to do that, because if she goes, she'll just die and nothing else, but she says now she's with him. No way he's gonna let her die. Boy. However, the girl is sharp. The kid already has the thing behind his back. Preparing to cut it, the door opens and Lily is startled. Kid. I know we're seeing the teacher all defeated in this situation, but for what I understood reading ahead here, she was only physically beaten, UFC style. No need to think they went beyond that, right? I hope not. The chubby guy is there scared while the boss tells him, be careful. The teacher is fierce and bit the other guy there. The dude is all bloody, crying, saying he's gonna finish off that bastard. Oh, what a miracle. I thought he wouldn't care, but he got sad for the teacher. And the bald guy warns, right, this girl. Then the fool followed me, and she wants to join the group? Oh, boss. I find it strange, man, apparently. At least this girl seems smart and knows how to switch sides. He meets the big guy, calls her over, and introduces her, telling her to say hi to Brother Donzi. And she's all awkward, right? She gets a little hello. He asks if she really wants to be part of it. She says yes. She accepts any order right away. He says that's fine. So all she has to do is beat up that girl. Yikes, you went straight for Uncle Rim, who she really doesn't like. The girl is grateful for that and immediately slaps her first. Uncle Rim turns around and says she really is a monster, while Donzi is celebrating, saying he heard she was a celebrity. It's going to be amazing to see her getting beaten up. While Lily is thanking him, Donzi says he was being nice, because he always wanted to hit that girl. Oh, what a team. Poor thing. She just realized there's not much she can do there. Hey, protagonist, let's go back to your base. Come on, man. He just abandons the women. Remember the story started with him and a woman in a house. He told her to wait for him. He still hasn't gone to see that girl, huh? Lily is holding Takinho by the hair, saying that his handsome face just makes her even angrier. At that moment, Donzi says enough. She's already qualified to join the group. At first, he tells the bald guy named Mengen that this girl is now his woman. It's best not to let her cause any trouble. She was wrapped in Big Mac's arms, but clearly, she didn't look very happy. And right then, Donzi is planning to start a revolution. It seems they used to be a separate group before, but now they all have to obey Didi. Their plan now is obviously to escape, because they want to be an independent group. Enough of obeying that damn trash. They can disappear and live their own lives. The apocalypse has arrived, and now that they have the chance to take control, why would they keep obeying that trash? Like dogs, the guys are all celebrating, saying they'll follow Brother Donzi forever, while the guy is even celebrating, saying today is the day that Lao Lu dies. Luckily, the guys didn't want to kill the girls, or do anything worse, right? I still don't know if anything really happened. What happened with the teacher, I confess. So now we're on the next morning with the crazy guy, taking a look through the party door, checking out the old base's cafeteria. The little boss walks in saying it's perfect that it's empty, because they're going to set up an ambush, but then a bone hits him in the face. The guy turns around confused, asking who did that. And it's the protagonist, right? The girl there says those bastards took too long. The little boss is angry. Let me save this chicken here to celebrate and ask what the kid is doing there. The protagonist stands up and says, hey, weren't you the ones looking for me? I saved everyone's time, and I'm right here in front of you. The little boss, however, knows that if this kid is standing there, it means the rest of the base failed. And the protagonist warns that the last ones who tried to kill him died instantly. His turn has come, but then the little boss says to bring the girl. Right away, obviously. He orders the kid to check what he brought, man. His comrade had been captured. The woman said the bastard is disgusting, while the little boss asks what he's going to do now. Huh, his comrade was now in the villain's hands. This girl was a celebrity. So obviously, returning her wasn't going to be cheap, but the man says it's a shame he tried that. Because he has no relation to this girl, the guy tells him to stop being arrogant. He says he saw them walking around together. Basically, he was using her, and she was using him. And that's it. But the second the little boss gets distracted, he charges once and for all and stabs the guy right in the middle of his arm. The muscle twitches, and he ends up letting go of his grip. And the protagonist manages to pull her back in memory. The little boss orders the rest of the group to attack, but the protagonist already threw the little rain back there. The first fool comes forward to punch him, but he dodges to the side and lands one on him. Right in the middle of the chin, the boy gets all wobbly, stumbling, but then the protagonist is surrounded on all four sides. He looks back, sees the guys approaching, and says for them to come quickly because he's in the mood to clean up the trash today. The first one from the gray band comes in to punch him, but the protagonist takes a step back. He grabs his arm and breaks it while slamming him to the ground. What the hell? The guy from Dire 2 came charging at the little protagonist, but he throws his hand behind the human's head, spins him forward, smashes him into the ground. The dumb kid is freaking out. Then this guy Ming-Ao shows up, pushing him aside, saying he's going to settle this. Already pointing a machete at our protagonist, the guy tries to throw the first punch, but the little protagonist slips underneath and lands a hit right in the ribs. The problem is that bastard has a Big Mac cape that keeps him standing. He tries to hit the little protagonist again, who dodges behind the blade. Crazy, he hits a reverse slap with a guifu on top of his hand, making the guy drop the knife while shifting his body weight to the other foot. Throws him up and lands a knockout punch. The big guy hits the floor, and the blonde kid is already down. Begging for mercy, that little guy. He's mentally challenged. He's holding the teacher now, and says if the boy moves, he'll slam her head into the ground. Come on, man. You're going to have to kill her right away. When we look back, we discover something good. The guy says he hasn't had fun with her yet because he was waiting for the right moment. Man, but Lily, who I hate so much, is right behind him, hand ready, just preparing. And the little guy tells the idiot to keep an eye out now, or he'll kill her. But then, suddenly he gets a mouthful right in the face. Lily tells the bastard not to mess with the teacher, while thinking she doesn't care about anyone, but the teacher treated her well. With that, man, we settled everything. And it was the worst possible thing, right? Lily and Gil as heroes now, meaning it's going to be even harder to get this woman away. Everyone's trapped, and the teacher thanks them there. While Lily cries, saying that. He is happy that the teacher is okay and didn't suffer too much from the kidney issue, but he shouts that Lily is a traitor. Meanwhile, the dear moi is realizing that the protagonist was already surrounded by women, and obviously the teacher says, right, that he must have been pretending to be with the villain to create this opportunity. Oh man, things got complicated. Even the poor Chun, the woman says, right, that the girl seems to have accepted the humiliation to kind of fool the villain. Why was she being so selfish? Chun doesn't want to accept that because she knows the truth. However, the protagonist asks her to calm down and stop all this fighting. But man, she uses her ultimate power, right? She charms the female and throws herself crying on her boy's chest. Oh wow. But the woman didn't like her, no son, saying that this girl is way too weak, damn. At the same time, she's also being stared down by Lily. The e-girl's life isn't easy in the apocalypse. No son, hate from all sides. Hug the protagonist right there. That's your chance, hug eyes. Look who discovered the wheel, man. It's Didi himself. He's holding a bunch of crystals, saying now it's explained. How that guy got so strong. Finally, he could kill everyone. Pineapple Head wants to play in the circle too. But man, the director gives him a hit on the head, telling him to shut up, and together the two celebrate. Oh my god, they screwed up. It landed right on the explosive. They think it's going to be something amazing, saying this seems to be the best prize when suddenly from the middle of the scroll, an old man appears there. I thought the black one would explode, but I also thought the red one was only for combat stuff, right? I think the roulette is so random, even the writer can't keep up. And then the old man announces that he received the alchemist profession. Obviously, the guy doesn't seem very excited about it, because it didn't seem like combat related. Then he tells the blonde guy to grab that huge pile of stuff that was around this base. That's when they saw some interesting things while thinking he was screwed. He kept hunting for that pile of crystals and ended up with this crappy profession. What Jerry doesn't know is that the crystals he put on the wheel were more than necessary, so some are left over there. Then the pineapple guy says he found the backpack of whoever was here before. And when the dude takes a look, there's that body strengthening potion. Jerry celebrates, saying that this strengthening potion looks good. Meanwhile, the pineapple guy wants to know how he already knows what that thing is. That's when Jerry realizes only he could see those descriptions. Probably because of his alchemist profession, he can now see the functions of each item. Right away, he takes another look and sees that the potion also warns that some people might die if they can't handle the strengthening. Opening it, he says it's risky to lose. But there's no point in hesitating, so he downs a big gulp. Suddenly, the dude starts having a seizure. His eye turns purple and smokes. The pineapple guy says he's going to run now and get help for him. But when he tries to open the door, bro, there's a huge hand pounding on the wall. He looks to the side, and it's a buff mutant. But just as the monster is about to punch the princess, the charming prince appears and protects her, saying he feels stronger than ever. And the monster arrived at the perfect time for him to test his full strength. Then we see the little prince, bro, going back to the house from the beginning. Just because I said so. He said that place is their temporary base. And he tells him to stay there while he goes to find Mo Chim-Fei. He's excited because they managed to get quite a lot of resources. He's going up the stairs saying, "I'm back, Mo Chim-Fei. Where are you, woman?" But suddenly, someone calls him and tells him to check this out. The kitchen floor was completely destroyed. And in front of the fridge, he sees a paper with a bloody handprint. It said that there was a new wheel at the supermarket, and he wondered if it was Mo Chin-ho. Fake who left that there, what happened in this house. Meanwhile, Didier just finished off the monster. The princess is saying he's amazing, and he's going crazy. All pumped up with his own power, the pineapple celebrates. Saying they don't need to be afraid anymore, and he agrees. Saying no way, and from now on, the zombies are their prey. But when Didi and his friend arrive at the base, saying now it's just about dealing with the friends. Suddenly, they find everyone captured. Oh no, the guys. He's alive, little zombie. Why didn't you put a bullet in anyone's head? Well, he was surrounded by women, right? They'd go crazy if he started handing out headshots. But still, man, everyone surviving is tough. And right then Didi sees that our little hero took all his resources now, obviously. You're telling me he's going to kill him personally? Back home, our boy is having a meltdown there. The girl asks if he's okay, and he says he has a strange feeling. Damn, but the boy's life isn't bad, huh? There's an aunt giving a massage nearby, the teacher in front. The girl next to him bringing some toast. What's up with that, boy? The protagonist says they have to rescue ugly Mo Chin-ho because she must be in danger but ended up escaping, right? Leaving information behind, Tim asks if she's his girlfriend. And he says no, she's just a good partner. Now he's all excited, saying if that's the case, she's going to help find the prototype, but he says it's good she doesn't interfere with operations. All allies have to be useful. Matthew is the kind of loyal person easy to support. She'd die for him. On the other hand, she was strong but clearly didn't trust him much. And there's also the teacher pulling Ying, who still doesn't really know how he's going to do the pause, and she's asking if she can come along. She's a teacher who had to go through first aid training, right? The protagonist said it was fine. It was good. She just shouldn't get in the way, because it takes extra energy for him to keep defending everyone. He wants to know if the woman is coming too, and she said, of course, buddy. Damn, the backpack is full. Let's go, man. The protagonist knows they not only need to find the backpack in Faye, but also the new wheel, since they're under pressure for new resources. But then the woman tells him to wait, and says she knows where there's a vehicle. With that, they find a huge truck right in front of the military base. And she says the boss spent a fortune to bring this one. It just wasn't missile-proof. But for ammo, for example, it could resist and still reach 87 kilometers per hour. The protagonist thanks her, saying it really was amazing. Meanwhile, Digita is walking through the city with a pineapple. Crazy to find that kid's base and kill him. Besides that, he never imagined that trash dons would betray like that. Oh, obviously the blondie told everything, right, dude? He wasn't going to die for the muscle head. And now, I swear he's the only predator who can hunt zombies. Well, go hunt then, man. Nobody's stopping you. No, hunt all you want, buddy. Meanwhile, the prototype was speeding a truck through the city, passing through all the zombies. The woman said that if they reach their destination, it'll be easy. The teacher is praising, saying it's always good to have someone competent like her, while Tyurinia is getting jealous because this girl is now getting all the credit. Damn, the women on this mission are really tough. And the prototype says, unfortunately, Shin Fei didn't say exactly which market it is, so unfortunately, they'll have to check several. The problem is that there were more and more zombies at that time. The rain, guys, there's something strange approaching. Wow, way in the back, there's a giant creature jumping. Looked like a mutant monkey with a red crystal on its forehead. What the hell? That's the monster grabbing zombies and eating them. Man, damn it, Pertinia. The zombie, the moment I recognize it, is like a fierce white monkey and one of the cruelest creatures of the apocalypse, a star-level threat at this moment. There's absolutely no chance of winning against this beast. At least he has fought this kind of race in his past life. So he knows the weak points, but meanwhile, he tells her to hold on tight. He starts to back up, but crashes into a pole going backwards. What an idiot. Right at that moment, the monkey jumps. It falls on top, lifting the whole truck. It already gives our protagonist a glare through the broken glass while he turns the steering wheel. Son, trying to get the beast off, but the damn thing won't let go. He tells the woman to take the wheel, gets out on the door side, man, and kicks the monkey in the face, the kid is really fighting back. The problem is that even though he pushed the monkey away, it used its tail to wrap around his leg and pull them both down. Man, Pertinia hit the ground and got buried, dude. Will the women betray him? Will they all abandon him? Damn, son. The monster slowly approaches and looks at him with a little smirk. Suddenly, the crazy guy lets out a roar and goes to give the final crushing blow. But he's shot with some bullets. Looking to the side, you can see it's the girl. She tries to fire another sequence of shots, but the beast manages to dodge and get past. It approaches the door and slaps it. But she manages to get out backwards. The girl is like Matrix, huh? Meanwhile, inside, the useless ones are like, oh my god. Everyone's gonna die. Have you thought about doing something? The woman keeps firing shots at its chest, even though it's not doing any good at all. The monkey comes to crush her, but she manages to throw herself to the ground. And it goes under the truck, but the beast doesn't stop. The girl grabs the sides and starts trying to flip everything. The girls inside are all falling from one side to the other. While the beast is stomping there, I don't even know what it's really doing. Oh, and the teacher got out of the truck. And right then he went to slap her, but she managed to duck as well. But damn, she took him head on, man, right in the back. Paralyzed, it was over for the girl. Hey dude, I came to tell this beast to stop, when suddenly someone whistles. The little guy stood up. Girl, now he's got the pistol and is already heading toward him. The monster comes to swipe, but the captain caught it and jumped on its arm. He's climbing and goes to bite the shoulder. The beast is all twisted, trying to catch the dog. That's spinning from side to side on its body, while the man tells the woman to hand over the weapon. She says no. He grabs it immediately and activates the craftsman's technique, increasing piercing by 20% and stability by 20%. The monkey keeps screaming while the pistol guy moves aside and goes to bite its little hand, but ends up getting swiped and thrown far away. The beast approaches in a second and comes to deliver that hammer strike with both hands, but at that moment the protector is beside him, giving that sharp look that knows the weak spot and hits a bullet right in the middle of the rib, which is oddly exposed on the back. It really seems to be the weak spot, and the beast falls immobilized on the ground. And the little guy relaxes, saying he's glad he got lucky. This monster literally has exposed vertebrae, and if you break the first one there, it falls dead on the ground. He got lucky to have this strengthening technique along with a pistol he managed to get. Really, this craftsman technique was better than he had imagined. Shortly after, they're taking care of the teacher's wound. The ant warns it's quite deep, and maybe they'll have to disinfect the wound with alcohol. The lady opens the door and asks if someone is screaming. What happened? Hey girl, why are you shy now? My guy, you've got half your back ripped open and you're going to end up looking pale. But that's okay, right? The guy's tough. Respect her priorities and just close the door. I'm dead here. I asked what happened, and he said it was just the teacher, who was applying medicine to a small wound. Nothing life-threatening. All right, man, he's walking around, thinking that after all he's seen, this isn't a big deal. Besides, he thanks the yellow turkey for everything it did. Man, the poor guy is really shaken up. Anyway, all beat up now, he needs to find recovery items to help the poor dog. A little while later, I think he stated the obvious, so zooming in, the teacher's wound is insanely deep, and the bleeding won't stop. Who would have thought, right? The woman says that for this kind of wound, they'll need stitches, anesthetic, and other medicines. The protector remembers that in his past life, he was stitched up a few times without anesthesia, but the teacher won't be able to endure that torture. How come? He's already leaving, saying he'll take advantage, that they're in the new territory to hunt for that wheel. Maybe other resources and see what they can find around there. Achuinya asks about his friend, the one named Shin Fei, saying she's a smart woman and there's no reason to worry. They'll find her soon, man, for sure. That's her way as a level 9 veteran, damn. She's really grown. It's the wheel of the apocalypse. However, the woman tells him to stay put and says they can split up. She'll hunt the supermarkets to look for that woman while he searches for medicine. He says it's not worth it. It's too risky. There's zombies in the streets. But here, she comes wanting to complicate his life, saying he can trust her, that she's a police officer. Guy 1, the protector, gives that stare while she keeps telling him not to worry. He relaxes and says it's okay, but she better be careful. The wheels attract zombies. The little protector thinks that in his past life, he was betrayed by his allies. He just hopes it doesn't happen again in this one. Meanwhile, in the city, Pineapple is pedaling hard. Dilly has his hand on his head, telling him to keep pedaling fast. He likes the breeze hitting his body, and it seems he did some calculations there. He has an idea that Zhoming is looking for something. Whoa, man, that's Sherlock Holmes. It must be, oh, wait a minute. Pineapple tells him to explain, and he says those guys stole his supplies. But it wasn't much, meaning they don't have much either, and soon they'll have to go to the markets to see what's left. Pineapple praised him, saying Big Brother really is smart, and they'll go to the biggest supermarket in the area. The Werewolf supermarket, poor woman, right? Surely they'll end up finding those guys. The two are going in there. Pineapple is scared of zombies, but Jerry tells him to stay calm, saying there's nothing he should fear. The problem is that as soon as they enter, they realize the whole place is empty. They throw a bag of flour on the floor, saying this damn place has nothing, when suddenly a zombie on top of one of the shelves is screaming. There, son, the beast comes down on them. And strangely, Dilly is scared. Son, did you forget your strong man? But strangely, the monster turns around and leaves. They're confused, not understanding why, and, oh man, there's only one thing zombies follow more than humans. All of them are stretching on top of a roulette. Pineapple asks what they're going to do. It's really scary. They should run. But of course the DJ says they're not running no way. They got lucky around there. I imagine the girl is walking. She knows the city very well, especially since she's a cop there. She decides to check out the small store, goes inside, is looking at the shelves when a zombie is in the corner. And she goes to the other market too, but it's empty again, unfortunately. She's not finding any wheels or supplies. The only place left is the biggest market in the area, the WRA1. She just hopes Xiaoming is okay. The protagonist is there revving up the truck, Finn, while Taihin says, unfortunately, the teacher is only getting worse. He says they're almost there. And then he parks in front of the city hospital. He immediately runs to get the medicine, while the teacher says it was hurting. Good heavens, the wounds on the back. It was soaked in blood. There was someone who knew that if the zombie didn't come back fast, she would die. They're screwed. Because if there's one kid who takes forever to come back, it's this one. He's rushing through the hallways, needing urgent medicine, when suddenly, a green tail hits beside him. Oh my god, another monster with a red crystal on its forehead. Wait, not red. Because in the next scene, the artist changed their mind and made it yellow. And it looks like this one is a turtle alligator, and it's way worse than the white monkey. Only after 10 years of the apocalypse did they start learning how to kill this beast. These monsters are known as guardian creatures. That's because, usually, they're protecting some kind of rare thing. The protagonist already hid, and knows that with his skills, he can't win. On the other hand, he has certain abilities. Outside, Tio Rim asks if he got the medicine, but he just ignores her, goes to the truck, grabs a bow and arrow, and says he'll be right back. Outside, Uncle Rim asks if he got the medicine, but he just ignores her, goes after the truck, grabs a bow and arrow, and says he'll be right back. But strangely, he goes to a gold shop there. Uncle Rim is all confused. Wanted to understand what he's doing, you know. The woman is dying here, and you're there playing Minecraft, kid. He might not know how to kill this creature, but he knows how to slow it down a lot. Now, with these items along with the craftsman technique, he believes he can produce what he was needing. Damn, son. Strengthen it with gold there. Make a cool chest. It's got swag, kid. This was a technique known as the mosaic technique that he saw people use in his past life, and usually you do it to strengthen one item using another. And now, with all the preparations done, he could step forward, and if he already comes out from behind the wall, son, shooting 3 arrows and sending them toward the turtle, but one falls in front, one beside the foot, and another ends up stuck in the tail. At that moment, the zombie runs by, saying that was all he needed to delay that damn thing. He goes to the medicine area, opens the door, and at least there was plenty of stuff, since almost no one managed to get in there, right, because of that beast. The problem is the monster already seems to be freeing its tail. But he also threw a net on its head, but the beast also tears that apart and starts turning toward him. Meanwhile, over at the supermarket, Didi just beat up a bunch of zombies and celebrates, saying he's finally going to get the wheel. And man, the pineapple is there scared, wanting to know what happened. When the dude pulls the cloth, you can see it's a wheel full of items. And right then he kicks the blonde loser, telling him to start collecting the crystals. And I'm telling you, the pineapple is getting angrier and angrier. And his guy is there thinking this wheel is very different from the one before. It even had a strange necklace and a card. The problem is it looks like this one costs 10 crystals to make it work. Damn, son, the pineapple says more zombies will show up soon, since it was clearly attracting them, but Jerry, the kid, throws a punch right in his face. completely out of nowhere. Meanwhile, at the entrance, the girl is arriving. The place was way too quiet, and that could only mean that all the zombies had already been killed. At the same time, in the hospital, the big beast is standing on its hind legs, roaring, while outside, Uncle Risk is all scared. The zooming was in danger. But the problem was that the doctor was also worn out, man. Unfortunately, she couldn't stay there, since she couldn't do anything. So she opens the door and runs out to see if the zooming needs help. Inside, she comes face to face with the alligator lizard. Scratching the wall, she wonders what kind of monster this is inside. Girl, the door is starting to collapse. Our boy put a little chair in front. Like it's going to do much. The little guy knows that as long as this beast isn't calm, he's going to be stuck there right away. The team from afar is sure that the little pot must be trapped there and won't be able to get out with that monster around. She starts looking around and then notices some eggs in that direction. The beast keeps swinging its tail, trying to break the wall, and the zone realizes that his level 1 crafting items didn't help much. That's when suddenly the beast starts to leave. He gets a bit confused in the corner, sees the girl there, and wonders what that idiot came there for. To cause trouble. Actually, the beast already came back and swung its tail again. And man, I want to know what the strength ranking of the crystals is, right? Because I imagine that golden one must be worth a lot. The girl keeps hiding behind the wall, wondering how she can help the zooming. She had to be useful for something. So this time she runs toward the eggs near the stuff. She shouts at the monster, "Look over here." At that moment, the beast obeys, turns around, and heads in that direction. The man, no matter how much he thought she was an idiot looking for death, he had to take advantage of that chance right away. He comes out of the room, telling Chuin to get out of there or he's going to die. The training is coming while she's face to face with the eggs. But she pushes the three, who strangely split apart. He seems way more worried about his kids, right, man? He goes to collect them all, almost hitting the wall. Uses the wing and realizes that the creature was valuing the eggs much more, so she got lucky. But the idiot ends up tripping. Lucky he grabs her by the hand, still scolding her, saying she really is a fool, but pulls her, telling them to get out of there quickly. Outside, she relaxes, saying it was a close call. Well, I want to know why she did something so dangerous. Now he's all in love. Man, she saved you, idiot. You wanted someone useful, you got one. Then she says she was panicking, scared. She wanted to save him, so she didn't think straight. He stares and says she has to stop acting like that. There's no reason. She tries to save, but at the same time thinks that thanks to that, now he can trust her meanwhile. But at night in the market, Yura, night has fallen. The woman sneaks in slowly. Now she's in the wheel room full of zombie corpses. She wonders what happened there when Jerry appears from behind, from the wheel, and says he didn't expect to find a maiden, but a zombie, especially a police officer. He really was lucky, but the woman went head on, confronting him. Come on, hit the like on this video. Guys, we finished the little work. Actually, we didn't finish the little work. There's a hell of a mess in this little work, but it's like I said in the other video. Now I'm trying to post more times a week. I don't know if this will be better for you. Yeah, I'm going to check it out, right? This one here is the second one I made. I haven't even posted the first one in this style yet, where I narrate a little less. But I try to post a bit more frequently, like I used to do a long time ago, guys. And in this work, well, the continuation is coming. And so you don't miss it. What are you going to do? Activate it, your incomplete line.